I don't think you can experience all of this without being changed in some way. We are all connected. There's no dividing line between us and the animals and the land.
The elephant unfortunately passed away, and we realized in that moment there was a huge gap in this village and something that we could actually affect. We could make a difference and go find a veterinarian, educate a veterinarian, to have somebody within the village grow up and be that leader.
We started Dazzle Africa in 2012 after a trip in 2011 with 5 other women. We were so filled up by the generosity of the Zambian people and all of the absolutely incredible animals that on our plane ride home, we all decided we wanted to do something to make a difference. And that's when we decided to start what we thought at the time was going to be a small nonprofit. Dazzle was one of those few rare moments that we came, we saw what we wanted to do, we went home, and we put it into action and we did it. It was important for us as an organization to find local partners on the ground to make a difference. So after working with the Bush Camp Company's Charity Begins at Home, we decided that if we were passionate about it and that's something that we could partner with and that was needed in the community, then that would be a good match. And so from that point, we decided our large focuses would be conservation, education, and community development.
Water is a huge issue when you realize what these people have to do, some of them, to get access to clean water.
I think most of us can't even conjure up what that would look like, to walk 2 miles with a bucket to get water. We literally go to the faucet.
It's estimated that in Africa alone, over 345 million people are without access to clean water. More than 3.4 million people die each year from water, sanitation, and hygiene-related causes. Dazzle Africa's safari guests have donated boreholes providing over 3,000 Mafui families access to clean water every day.
When people know that you're not going to give up on them, that's what gives them hope and what helps them to thrive.
Life is going to change because in my family, I'm the one who have in high grade. Most of them there is in grade 7, 6. So even if me have educated the young ones, it imitated to me that our old brother is do like this. So let me to do like what our old brothers do.
We believe that education can be the great disruptor. The youngest generation is the most open-minded, watching kids that see their families being impacted by high rates of malaria and wanting to go to medical school and get a degree in public health. Comes knowledge, comes influence, comes eventually change.
Very little and very few people get a full education from Mafui, where Dazzle focuses its efforts. They need our support to get that full education.
I'm an elementary school principal, so the most fun part of the trip for me, it was fun, it was heartbreaking at the same time, to see the children, to go to the school that Dazzle Africa is assisting. They're providing scholarships for these kids so that they can have an education beyond 8th grade. They can go to college, they can give back to their own communities.
I was at school in Mafui, and by fortune got to sit next to Simon. I learned later he was being raised by his brother Maston. Both of their parents died when Maston was a young teenager. My long-term goal is to create 10,000 Simons, and then to have those Simons create 10,000 more Simons. Because every person matters. And we get to matter for as many people as I'm capable of affecting and supporting.
Being able to see elephants in the wild for the first time was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. And it's this generation that has a responsibility to take care of our planet.
Kilo from Lunar Juliet. I got a report that there were 3 gunshots. Over.
They kill the elephant and then they chop the face off so the ivories can come out. It's just ugly, and it just hurts your heart. The 2 main jobs of the plane, I would say 60% is for anti-poaching surveillance flying, and the other 40% is for ZCP animal tracking. To understand more about their biology, their ecology, but also protect them from snaring. We're looking for illegal activity. We're assisting ground teams on the trail of poachers.
The core focus of the organisation is to reduce poaching, reduce wildlife trafficking, involve the local communities in conservation. We've set ourselves goals for the next couple of years, very ambitious goals, and it's to reduce the current levels of poaching dramatically. Thank goodness we have an aircraft, because we find poaching camps, or actually find poachers in these camps.
It happens so quick, a white sack or a piece of bone, and then you turn and you see people. It's happened 3 times in the past 2 weeks. We got some arrests out of that. That's the time when you're like, oh, the plane's really doing something good.
Protecting all these iconic species in Africa, we can't do that alone. With the correct number of anti-poaching scouts and political will, as an organisation, we really do feel like in the next few years we can turn this around completely, and that's what we're setting out to do.
I think what makes us different than other organizations is that, number one, we're based on philanthropy. So we're a 501c3 first. A lot of times in conservation, people are wanting to make a difference, but they don't know how. So when they come on safari with us, they get to take the money that they've donated, they get to see the difference that it's making. I've heard multiple guests of ours say that it's rare to find an organization that they can donate to something specifically. And I think it's an empowering strategy for people to be able to take their hard-earned money, put it in a place not only that they trust, but in a specific passion that they have. Our main partner for safaris is the Bush Camp Company. And the Bush Camp Company is what brought us to the South Luangwa. They own Mafui Lodge, and that's what they're famous for, is the elephant walking through the lodge every November. The reason that we have such a high return on our safaris, which is almost unheard of in the safari industry, of people going back to the same location with the same group of people, is that we become friends. We become friends with the people that we're working with, the students that we're serving, those working at the Mafui Lodge and bush camps, and our partners. And so each year we get to see our family grow.
In the burrow, like artifacts.
Dazzle Africa is actually one of those organizations where I know it moves my soul, but it also allows me to know I'm making a difference that matter to me.
Now that they see that we come back, we're invested in your community, we're invested in you guys, you can see how the people have changed.
My whole attitude has changed about education and about the world, and I tell everybody now that I get to change the world every day, 600 kids at a time.
Dazzle Africa is a pioneering organization. We step into projects that are needed by our partners. So we step in even if the groundwork has not been laid yet.
When people know that you're not going to give up on them, that's what gives them hope and what helps them to thrive. And we're helping people of Mafui thrive. That's what Dazzle does.
Dazzle is not just safari, but it's touching people's lives.
It's home. It's become my home.